Tomorrow, there's the Consulate General for the New England states, Louise Moore, I believe. Leisha Moore. And so that's really good. She was here a few years ago. What was it? Maybe 2 years?
2020, it seems like a few years
Yeah,
ago, but
yeah.
right before the
That's right.
pandemic.
So she's going to give a talk, and that's a streamed opportunity. Should look on the website for that. Lots of other things going on. Maybe we can talk more about that. But we're here tonight to hear one of our good friends and one of the great Irish fiddlers in the United States, throughout the world actually, plays in the Sligo style. He's got a lot of things to say and to play for you. Would you please welcome Tony DeMarco.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome.
Mark is my official Vermont agent. Keeps me busy up here.
You and me and your family.
All right. I'll probably play, as I'm from New York and learned a lot from the fiddle players there. We were fortunate to have some great fiddle players from Ireland, and they were from New York, up in the Bronx, and lived in Brooklyn and Queens and all over the boroughs. So they were a big influence on, the younger generation of fiddlers, which there's like 2 more generations below me now, that from when I was 19, 20, The guys we learned from are like Andy McGann, Patty Reynolds, Martin Wynn, Lado Byrne. And of course, before them, it was Michael Coleman and James Morrison that kind of came directly from Ireland, as well as Patty Martin and Lado Byrne. So there was just a lot of fiddle music in that Sligo style around New York. It's kind of the predominant style. Even though there was Kerry guys, we had the Cronins, Patty up in Boston, and Johnny down in Brooklyn. And so there was a lot of good fiddle music to be had. And we were fortunate for that. There was another guy, Larry Redigan, who was a great composer, much like Martin Wynn. All of them kind of wrote a few tunes, but they would influence guys like myself, Brian Conway, and then after us, Patrick Mangan, Matty Mancuso, and then after them, this one young girl, Haley Richardson, who's now touring with Riverdance. Patrick Mangan tours with Riverdance in the Traveling Show. And so we've always had like top-notch fiddle music and dancers too. I mean, the whole Riverdance thing was from the 2 dancers from America. Kind of pissed off the Irish dancers because the 2 biggest dancers that made Riverdance were from Chicago and New York. Michael Flatley and Jeannie Butler. Flatley from Chicago, Jeannie from Brooklyn, from Donnie Golden School. And they turned the world upside down with that stuff, and also gave Irish traditional music a big bump, because the dancing and the music is always kind of intertwined, and Flatley was amazing. But anyway, I'll do a couple jigs to start off, and one of them is it's one in A minor. We'll see how that goes. I wouldn't have minded if it was in time with me, but no such luck. These new things, they all turn off different now. All right. So those were a couple of jigs. First one was one of Larry Redigan's, and the second one, I'm not sure. The last one was the Rambling Pitchfork, which we always thought it was a crazy name for a tune, but years ago, I guess, when they put the hay up before hay balers, people would get together and help each other out and go to the fields in a group and put the hay up. And those, you ever see those old photos with the hay stacked up, kind of, and they do that with the pitchforks. So they called the guys that went around and helped each other in the farms, in the fields, the Rambling Pitchforks. So that was the last jig. I might try some hornpipes. I did a record, and I didn't bring any product with my CD, which was done so long ago. There's a new one in the works, but I like people to go to it's on the Smithsonian Folkways label. So I kind of suggest people to go to their website, which is folkways.si.org. And you could get everything there. You could see the whole thing, download different sections of it if you want to look at the notes, the tunes, and stuff like that. So for now, I just like people to go to the website for the Smithsonian, so it looks like I'm selling something.
Hey, Tony, somebody dialed in and asked, what makes it Sligo style?
Someone in the Zoom just put a
Yeah.
question up on the chat.
Well, basically, it's kind of snappy and lively, and it's more kind of like the tempo and the phrasing of it that makes it Sligo. Where I guess, some of it is more exaggerated. If you listen to James Morrison, he's very lively and snappy with it. And then some other styles are more smooth and like the Claire style, like if you heard Martin Hayes, it's more kind of a lonesome sound and not as snappy with the bow. It's more smooth and slurry and that type of thing, where the Sligo style, is it's kind of real jumpy and lively. So it's more like the tempo and the phrasing. Not that it's too fast, but it can be. It's very danceable, But they're also, not to take dancing away from any other style, but it's I'd say that's the biggest things, is that of the kind of liveliness and the snappiness of it. I hope that helps. But listen to James Morrison. He's got stuff on YouTube, some of his old recordings, and it sounds like he's going to jump off the record and start dancing. But he's probably the most snappy of the ones. Coleman was a little more kind of smooth and a little less snappy. But the nature of that beast is kind of lively and snappy. It's not so. Sometimes the Claire music can get dark and lonesome and that type of feeling to it. But I'll play some hornpipes that might be on my CD. Alexander's is, and let's see what happens there. You can tell I don't write sets out. So I was just thinking of just some Sligo things that we do in that style. I think like probably 70% of Irish music is triplets. In one form or another, there's bow triplets, which can be different ways of doing those, and then finger triplets, which are just, without the bow. And a real Sligo kind of thing is, let's see, a lot of that with those kind of like a little bit of space in between them. You hear that a lot in the Sligo playing, and they'd use the fourth finger too for like two A's or two E's, and like that. So there's little, things like that that make it from that area. Let's see. Ooh, coffee. Yes.
Even better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, let me see. I did some jigs and hornpipes, do some reels. One of the real popular reels around Sligo are a great fiddle player from outside of Gertrude, South Sligo, was Michael Gorman, and he influenced a lot of. He was from Sligo, but he moved to London, and influenced a lot of the London players like Kevin Burke, John Carty. Those type of players that grew up in England. And so he wrote a real popular tune. He wrote a couple of nice tunes. One of them is The Mountain Road. And when I was over there in the 70s, Seamus Tansey kind of took me around and showed me different areas where guys were from, Mulatto Byrne and Martin Wynn and Michael Gorman. And he said, yeah, that's the Mountain Road that he wrote that tune for. I was like, cool. See if we can do this without spilling it. Yeah, right. So I'll try that Mountain Road for you, from Michael Gorman. He also wrote like some beautiful, other beautiful tunes. Stray Away Child, that jig, and Promenades, which are like hop jigs. I'll play some of them after this. So I'll do a couple of reels. Start with the Mountain Road. coffee's kicking in. The last two were the same tune, the Miss McLeod's in G and A. Then I did Cooley's, which, not so much a Sligo tune, but I'm not going to play all Sligo tunes tonight. But Joe Cooley was a legendary character in the States, from Tuller, I think, in Galway. And he was a big influence on Irish music in America. You know, he lived in, I know he lived in Chicago and San Francisco. There's a great dance school, Patricia Keneally's dance school in San Francisco. And she's probably one of the closest accordion players to his style, because she kind of grew up on his lap learning accordion out in San Francisco from him. And so that was Cooley's reel. His brother Seamus lived in Chicago, a great flute player. And then the first one was The Mountain Road. I don't know the name of all the tunes, but I'm trying to stick to ones I do. And following in Michael Gorman's vein, I'll try it. There's a couple of other nice tunes that he wrote, or at least was known for. Not sure if he composed them. He might have. Kevin Burke named a record after them called Promenade. I don't know if you know that record Kevin made, and it was those tunes, and they're called hop jigs. So they're a little different than regular jigs, double jigs, single jigs, slip jigs. These are hop jigs, and they often get written down in the books and the collections as slip jigs. For some reason, I don't read or write, so somehow they see that they fit into that category. I'm not sure how, but to me they're very different. They have almost a waltzy feel to them, you know, than a slip jig, which is like 9/8. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a slip jig. And I'll play the hot jigs for you. And these were kind of from Michael Gorman. And I'll see, I might throw some other ones in there. But the first two are from Gorman. Promenade. that last one was often played as a slip jig, which you might have heard the Bothy band. But I like it better as a hop jig. So it's just a different, I don't know how they write them, that they fit into the slip jig section, but to me, they're totally different. And I'm sticking to that. But somehow somebody explained it to me and said, this is the way you count them. I was like, I can't count that way. But if you're looking like O'Neill's or any of those collections, you'll see they call them slip jigs. Don't ask me. How we doing, Macy?
Good.
Good? I passed the audition.
Yeah.
I'm a little rusty now. I didn't get to play with all the family stuff going on. I didn't really get to warm up. But I will by the end of the set. Let's see. I was going to try something here. There's a type of tunes that this blind harpist wrote a ton of, O'Carolan. And there's books out on him and his music and stuff. And he was blind and he traveled around in an ass in a cart. And he went around to, rich people's houses, castles and what have you. And he'd write tunes for them in honor of them for putting them up and while he was on his travels. So a lot of them are called planksties. And planksty means tribute to somebody or in honor of somebody. So I've been playing this one a lot lately. I kind of like it. It's called Planksty Hewlett. tittle tune. And there's a whole book full of them. I don't know a ton of them, but that's one of my favorite ones lately. Then we got the ballads. One of my favorite ones lately is from a great singer. Actually lived in Brooklyn for quite a while, and we used to hang out together at festivals and different things. You probably know him from New York. His name was Joe Heaney, and like fabulous, sure-nosed singer, English or Irish.
I
Yeah.
just want to say, we showed his film last night, and we're showing it again next Wednesday.
Oh, the Rock or
Song
something?
of Granite.
Song of Granite,
Yeah, yeah.
because there's a lot of granite where he's from, in Connemara. It's like, I think a lot of the granite that we ever got in this country is from Connemara. It's like in the west coast of in Galway, over there by the islands, like Inishmore, Inishman. We used to have, not to get too far from the point, we used to have a friend from a little remote island. It's only 150 people lived on it. It's called Inishbofin. And this guy was from this island. A lot of them hang out in the Crane in Galway. I don't know if you've been for sessions in Galway, the Crane. Legendary place. Sean Ryan, whistle player. He did a tour with the Dan and way back when. So a lot of these people from Inishbofin hang out in that bar there. But this guy lived in New York. We used to call him Boffin because he was from Inishbofin. But where Joe Heaney's from, I'm not sure exactly which island he was from in Connemara, or if he was even from an island. Because there's a whole section of Connemara that's just stone. And that's where a lot of the granite's from. What was the name of the movie he did? Or they did on him?
Song of Granite.
A Song of Granite. Yeah, it's crazy. But if you go out to those islands, all you see is stone. Stone walls, stone houses, everything's stone. So he sang, one of his most famous songs was called The Rocks of Bourne. And the cool thing I just wanted to tell you about him was, because we hung out together a lot back in New York, and we do some folk festivals and whatever. And he was the best guy to go see if you wanted a cup of tea, because he always had a blazer on, and in every pocket of that blazer, in and out, were different kinds of tea. He had loose tea, he had tea bags, he had black tea, I don't know what, he had tea probably from Connemara, I don't know. But he was such a character, and he was a doorman in the city, in Manhattan. And what a singer. So one of his favorite, I'm sure that song was in that movie, The Rocks of Bourne. I'll try that for you. was lucky enough to have a couple of really good pipers play with me in the city at my session. If you're ever down in New York, I play the 11th Street Bar every Sunday, 25 years. And we played during the COVID. From September of 20, we've been playing since. And we weren't afraid of no stinking COVID. We were lucky. But you couldn't come in the bar. You could only come in to get a drink, and then you had to go back outside to I call them shanties, because basically that's what they are. They're like glorified shanties. And if you go down the streets in the city now, it looks like they're in a depression, because I don't like them at all. They look really shanty. But I was lucky to have Killian Valley with me since from September 20th, 2020 until March. And we were like the only session going in New York. Nobody else wanted to work or be around the city, kind of. So he played with me till March, and then the bar he plays, the Dead Rabbit, over on Water Street, downtown, down by the Staten Island Ferry, that area. They reopened. And they didn't have an outside shanty because there was a bus stop in front of them. So they couldn't build on the street there, on Water Street. So, but they reopened in March. He went over there. And then I got Isaac Alderson, because I like playing with the pipes. I like all that plumbing, you know. It's like, I always feel safe in case I have a water pipe break or some shit. So, Isaac's a great piper too. He's on that tour now, traveling around the country. So I used to have them play a D drone for me while I played the airs, and it just always sounded so good, having that, you know. And I missed it just now, really. But let's see. I might try a couple of jigs again. This one's from. These couple are from a great duet in New York. I don't know if you ever heard of a guy, Charlie Mulvihill. He's an accordion player and concertina player from the Bronx, but his father was from Milltown, Malbay, in Clare, and also played concertina and the accordion. And they lived in an apartment building in the Bronx, and their apartment was like the place to go. On the weekends, everybody went there to play all the big guns, you know, playing Irish music. And he also had one of the old 78 Victrolas that made the 78s. Because really they were like the tape or MP3 or whatever today's recording, you know, processes. That was the old Victrolas that made the 78s. So he not only had like the house full of session of great musicians all weekend, he made a bunch of CDs, which are now in the library in Dublin. Somebody took a lot of them and cataloged them over in Dublin, the Irish Traditional Music Archives or whatever it's called. But Charlie played with the guy who taught me a lot, Patty Reynolds, from Longford. They were a great duet. So this first tune is kind of a version that they played of Tatter Jack Walsh's, which is usually a little bit more major. They made like a little kind of minor modal version of it. And then I'll go into some other jigs that they played. Macy was just down in Little Italy with me for some steak.
Biggest steak I'd ever had.
And I got her a lobster roll for dessert. Which I don't know if you know what it is. It's not lobster. It's like a, you ever hear like sfigidel? It's like a crunchy, real wafery. Sfigidel's like a clamshell type of style, but the lobster roll looks like a, it's kind of shaped like a lobster without the claws. And it's just stuffed with Bavarian cream. So I got a good picture of her chowing down on that after dinner in the hotel room, our hotel room. It was a good time, right? She knew a guy. You knew somebody down there, didn't you?
Don't need DeMarco. Everybody knows Tony.
I know a guy that you know a guy, right? I brought the Italian out in her. Which kind of leads into, if you're ever down in New York and you're hungry, look me up. Because I live on Mulberry Street. I know everybody there. All the restaurants, everything. And the food, it's still Little Italy. I don't care what they say. Like, oh, it's Chinatown. I'm like, no, it ain't Chinatown. It's still Little Italy. There's 4 blocks of it. It's not as much as it used to be, but it's still there, and there's still killer food there. But Chinatown's right around the corner, which also has killer food. So, hence my figure. It's hard to be skinny down there. So let me see, what am I gonna do now? How much time we got there, Mark?
I was just remembering you took a whole busload of us.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking
Well,
of-
you took the busload down.
Yeah.
I guided the bus driver when he got down there. It's a 50-foot bus, I don't know what the hell it was. And I was like, no, don't go down that block, don't go down that, like, stay on the main avenues. But they came down, and we went to a restaurant next to my apartment, El Piccolo Buffalo, means a little buffalo. And we took them there, and I got them to, it was about 30 of yous, right?
Yeah.
About 25, 30 kids. And I had them making pizzas behind the counter with the pizza guy. They were slinging pies. And then we went to a session at this place called Slancha on 2nd Avenue, which is back in action now. Pretty much all the sessions are back full throttle, Thank God, after 2 years. So we had a good time. It was just maneuvering that bus around Manhattan. That was a little tricky. But yeah, the kids enjoyed making their own pizzas.
What, 10 minutes or so more?
Oh yeah, no problem. I turned my phone off because I didn't want it singing at me while I was playing. Let me see. I just did what, Jigs? Yeah. I guess I'd do, being that we have a relation of one of the fiddle players I learned a lot from in Ireland back in the 70s. Of course, I had learned, a lot of stuff from the New York Sligo guys. So I was like 19, 20 or whatever, and I was like, I would like to go to Ireland and see what the Sligo players are playing like over there, because these guys are pretty good over here. And a lot of them left Ireland, and the real big powerhouse players. But there was a couple left in Ireland, up in Sligo, And one of them was Joe O'Dowd. And he was probably one of the best ones over there when I went, that I came across over in Sligo. Because most of them did immigrate, and who went to England, who went to New York. Seemed like they went to either England or London or New York. But Joe stayed in Sligo town, right? Yeah. So this is his niece right here that's running this event. I'm sorry, I forgot your first name.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth O'Dowd. So Joe had a great way of playing tunes. He had his own little settings and nice variations and beautiful approach to the music. He was a winner of the Fiddler of Dooney contest, I think back in the 60s or early 70s, which is a very prestigious fiddle contest. It's called the Fiddler of Dooney. It's from a Yeats poem. I think he wrote a poem called The Fiddler of Dooney. And I don't know if you heard of Madison and Seamus Maguire. They were very into the Sligo style, even though they weren't, I don't think they were from Sligo. Their father might have been. And he started the Fiddler of Dooney contest back in the 60s or early 70s. And Joe won it back then, one of those years. If you go online, I think you can see it. I think it's on YouTube. If you Google, or if you YouTube Fiddler of Dooney. And it'll show you all the past winners. And I was lucky enough to be asked from the Cultus, the Irish Music Organization. They tied it in, they still do it, they tied it in with Sligo Live Festival in Sligo, the whole town of Sligo. And it goes from trad, folk, all kinds of arts, and it's really a kind of all-inclusive folk festival, but even into like rock stars and stuff. They've had Elvis Costello and what's his name, Tupelo Honey, Van Morrison. So they've had like really big names too, but a lot of it is trad, and a lot of it's just the whole town is like lit up with the music. And but Joe was like one of the first guys I met. Do you remember Pumpkinhead, Rick Epping and those guys? Anyway, they had a band in Sligo, and I was hitchhiking. I went on my first trip to Ireland. I went with a backpack, a sleeping bag, a tent, and my fiddle, and my thumb, and that's how I got around. No phone, no cell phone ringing at me. Didn't even know what a cell phone was. Used to go into the phone booth and call America. I'm okay. I'm staying a little longer than I thought. And I met Joe, man. What a nice guy. I went into the house with him. Shamey was like 8 or 9. Shamey O'Dowd, his son, is like phenomenal singer, songwriter, guitar player. Plays everything. Plays the fiddle. And so I want to play this tune that I got kind of specially. I always think of Joe O'Dowd when I play this. If I can think of the name of it. I'm sure somebody knows the name of it. Anyway, I'm going to try it. anyway, Joe played it. He put this one riff in it, which was really nice for all you riffsters out there. It normally goes like, right? He went, you know, just little things like that you pick up from players. And that was his one little, nobody else did. You know, it was his little riff in that tune. It's not the Maids of Mount Kisco, is it?
I don't think so.
Anyway, it's a pretty common tune. I'm gonna try another air. This one's about. It's called The Wind That Shakes the Barley, which was a movie about the Troubles in Ireland, and I kind of like the story. It's kind of an Irish-Italian thing. They had the Brits were coming into this town to take it over, right? So the Irish guy that was supposed to be fighting for the Irish locals, Joe Valachi, the Brits, if you follow me. So Joe Valachi was like a rat, you know, in the mobs. So this Irish kid tipped off the Brits that there was going to be an ambush. And, of course, foiled their whole attack on the Brits coming in to take over this little village. And they found out who he was. Damn. Took him out. So he's, back in the day, they waked you in the house, right? So he's in the casket in the house. And the old woman's in the rocking chair, and she's singing The Wind That Shakes the Barley. And I actually rented the movie so I could learn it from her singing. And it's also like a great tune that's kind of all over the world, the fiddle music world, The Wind That Shakes the Barley. So I might go into the reel after it. One more maybe, or
Yeah,
two more?
Sounds great. Yeah, one or two.
All right. Maybe I'll try plug the CD from 10 years ago. The Sligo Indian. I had a total different vision of what to call it. I was going to call it something Andy McGann always said, bye for now, when he said goodbye. He always said, bye for now. And they didn't like that at all. So they said, you know, you wrote that tune, the Sligo Indians, which was a story about being in Sligo. The second time I went with my friend Caesar Pacifici, who, you know, we was pretty much kind of wild-looking hippies, I guess, at the time, which in this little village, we were in Gertrude, and, you know, there wasn't too many of people look like us there. So we were playing in Ted McGowan's The Roaching Dove at the time, and I brought Caesar up. We were touring around Ireland a little bit. So I said, you got to come up to Sligo and meet some of the guys that I learned from, like Peter Horan and Fred Finn, Seamus Tansey, your father, Joe O'Dowd, Andy Davey. You know, there's so many good musicians up around there. A lot of flute players, really good flute players. Sonny Madonna, Roger Sherlock, you know, on and on. So anyway, we're just kind of hacking around a couple tunes in the back of Ted's bar in the afternoon, waiting for the sessions to start at night. So P.J. Hernan had moved up there. He was going out with this girl down the end of town there. So there was a guy that was cutting turf for P.J.'s, you know, his girlfriend's family. So his last name was Divine anyway. So he come in for his pint on lunch break. We were in there playing tunes in the back of the bar. I had the long hair and the suede vest with the fringe. Caesar had a big afro, like Italian afro, with feathered earrings hanging off his ears. And, you know, we were quite a sight, I guess. So this guy came in for his pint. He looked in the back room. He was like, oh, my, what is this? So we ran down to PJ's father, then to become father-in-law. He said, he said, PJ, and his father, he said, you got to get down to Ted's bar. He says, there's 2 red Indians in there playing Irish music. So later on, I wrote this jig, and I called it the Sligo Indians, which sounds like a baseball team, but it's not. But it's not. It's a tune about that story. And then eventually, like, after they came, PJ come running down to the pub, and he's like, I don't know if you know PJ. He's like, he's very fast. He's like, oh fuck, DeMarco. I should have known it was you. So he's still over there. All his kids play. They're great. His brother, Marcus Hernan, great flute player. And all their kids play now. They're really good musicians. But PJ's like he was with a band back then in the 70s. What were they called? The Shaskeen. They were like touring all over Ireland. They were big. And what's the fiddle player was with them? Matt Cranich. He was with them. And they were the big stuff. I mean, it was almost like, I guess the Chieftains might have been around, but it was like they were the big band in Ireland, trad band. Anyway, I'll try the Sligo Indians for you, and maybe go into a reel or something after that and finish up. Thanks everybody for coming. Thank you for putting this together for the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival.
Jim back there, the mastermind. Emma Reid.
Give him a hand.
And
think-
your agent.
And my new agent, Mark Sustick. Is this the first one I ever did of these, right? Maybe?
No.
Oh, no, I did them before?
Oh, you've been here
Just
before.
did different.
Yeah.
10 years ago tonight.
I smoke a lot of weed, so
In the other.
I might have forgot. What's going on next door? Let's talk about weed.
Yeah.
This guy's got the bug for it. But is it a dispensary maybe?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Really is.
Is it open? That's my next question.
I'm not sure you need to go in. Just stand out in the
Have they ever been broken into? Anyway, all you Zoomsters out there, thanks for tuning in. Zoom. I'm not into the whole, what do you call it?
New
Virtual?
internet.
Virtual, yeah. I'm not a virtual guy, although I've done it. John Whalen was running a Zoom thing for just people to sign up and play with good players. And you get great players from all over Ireland, America, England, Scotland, all over the place. And it was good. I did one, and I think I had like 70 or 75 people sign up for it. He's in New York right now, so he's playing with me Sunday. But yeah, he hustles it. again for having me to play here. We'll see you again when I come up and visit my mother.
One quick announcement for everybody. My name's Warren, I'm with Vermont Violins. On the end of April, we're going to be having an event here in the shop. It's pretty special. I wanted everyone to know about, trying to get the word out. It's called Women in Lutherie, and it's a touring exhibit of